everybody, it's BDC. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're doing Hardspace Shipbreaker, and in this video, what I'm going to do is a complete teardown of the Hazard Level 5 Refueling Javelin, because I've not done a video on this yet. I've done one already for the Hazard Grade 5 Heavy Cargo Javelin, the one that you see there. But I've not done one for this same difficulty level one, for this refueling one. So, a couple things about this. These videos are catered towards the newer players specifically. These aren't done in free play. These are all career-based. My player here is, I think, rank 8 now or something like that. Rank 8 or 9, I can't remember exactly what he is. But he's newer, and I've only put maybe 4 or 5 days of gameplay into this character since the 0.4.0 game update, which reset all players. So this one's going to be using the standard grappler, you know, the lower grade thrusters, the lower grade cutting tool, that kind of thing like that. Nothing fancy that you would otherwise be able to do in free play. So this is all career mode, drain enabled, real gameplay type thing. And like I said a minute ago, this is catered towards the newer player who is just now running into this as their first javelin once they've reached, I think it's rank 7, player rank 7, that you need to be able to do ship grade 6, I think. If I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me down below. But anywho, yeah, so I wanted to go through here and show how these earlier javelins are done with the cheaper tools, you know, without the advantage of having unlimited tethers that last, you know, an hour. Actually, they don't. They're only a few minutes. But anyway, you know, so when you're really slumming it as a new player and you run into this first javelin and this refueling one in particular, and you're trying to figure out how to get it apart. So that's who I'm catering to this to. So, anywho, let's see. Before I start, as is a standard thing for me to do on every one of these Shipbreaker videos, is I turn the HUD off briefly, and I grab my screenshot. There it is. Bingo, you heard it. And then, let's see, we'll kick it back on, save changes, and boom, now we can start. So, y'all don't have to do that. That's just a me thing. I want to make sure that the thumbnail I have for the video is the same as the ship that I'm taking apart here. Anywho, okay, so let's go. First thing I normally do, as is the case on any other ship pretty universally, besides just kind of getting a good look, which I would call a sight inspection of it. That's a term I borrowed from somewhere else, but aside from kind of getting a look as to the overall thing as to what I'm dealing with here, is I try to simplify the start of this by going after all the extraneous pieces that can be sawed off or pulled off or whatever and tossed into the barge or furnace or wherever it's going. So for you new players out here that are watching this that have never done this boat before, this is what a javelin looks like. They're long and skinny, generally tube-shaped, and sometimes they have an ion ring at the front or at the back of the boat. They'll have at least one of these, I call them sidecar cockpits. Usually it's, well, I mean, always one, sometimes two. I wouldn't say usually two. Some of the higher grade of these will have a couple of them, especially the cargo boats. I think is the one that has them. I think they're ostensibly for the ship cockpit itself, and then one for loading cargo, you know, the cargo crate containers and that kind of thing like that. One of the major differences, actually two major differences on this Javelin Refueler, the earliest one, is that it has a Class 1 nuclear reactor, so it's a lot easier to take out. Your higher tier Javelins have a grade 2 in there, Class 2, and they're mounted in a whole separate framework and a lot of stuff, and you have to go through all this jazz to get it out. Another thing is, in this boat, as you can tell, there's no fuel tank, so therefore there's no fuel piping, there's no separate nacelles that are around it, there's no plenum, no main shutoff valve, that kind of thing like that. Another thing is, that on the higher tier refuelers, on these, pods here, these clamps, they hold multiple large fuel tanks. So that becomes part of the job, is peeling all those off. In this case, it would be 12 if the dimensions of the ship remain the same. So, anywho, let's get started. I'm going to tag the island ring first, and then I'm going to grab those amplifiers and antenna off. So, on this, we are going to start with the split saw. Now, for the new players out here watching this, split saw, the main rule of this is always be mindful of your backdrop. Keep an eye on what it is behind you, or behind, not behind you, but behind this object here, like in this case, that we're sawing apart. Make sure it's not something that is also going to get sawed apart, or lit on fire, or exploded, or frozen, or whatever. You know, in the case of fuel tanks, coolant tanks, nuclear reactor, that kind of thing like that. So always be mindful of your backdrop. So, what I do is I just pretty much go ham on all of these things and just saw all these cut points. Now, in the previous version of this game, the previous build, I think it was 0.3.1. This is 0.4.0, in case I haven't already mentioned it, but in 0.3.1, I believe, is the old build. These larger cut points here on the Javelin, you would have to, on the iron rings, and I think it's true for most of the other parts, period, you had to use demolition charges to get all of it off. So, thankfully, we don't have to do that here. So anywho, now that we're done here, some of these objects can sometimes be too large for the grappler, even with it having been upgraded. So, you can use tethers. The smaller ones here, these iron rings, I think I can just get these off and then use the grappler to push them straight down to the barge. But there we go. Get down there. There you go. Get a few nice whacks on it. And let's see. This guy is apart. So make sure I didn't miss it. Go on down. So let's see. Let's make sure he's good. Sometimes you have to use multiple tethers on these things. So expect on this Javelin boat to use a good deal of tethers. One on the ion rings, and then 2 on all of the external body parts, because they're large, and sometimes you need 2 of them to effectively pull them into the processor so they don't get drawn into the furnace. So, anyway, let's see. I really, really, really like all the changes they made to this. Okay, I'm rank 9. So, I thought it was still 8, but I guess I hit 9 last time I played this. Oh, get on there. Get on there. Give it a little bit of guidance. Come back over there a little bit. Let's go make sure he gets down there. I'm going to wind up using all of my O2 and a chunk of my fuel and a chunk of my tethers just on this first part.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
You can go home down there. And that should be it for the ion ring. Now, those things are, they're pretty big money, from what I recall at least. So, that's some good stuff. As far as getting the ranks up and everything over there, I'm distracting them, thinking about whatever, well, other stuff I'm doing over here. One thing I neglected to do, that I should have, when I did my first initial inspection of the ship around here, was to look to see whether or not the cabins are, pressurized. It looks like none of them are, save the airlocks, of course, and that's just kind of a normal thing. So this thing's going to start screaming for O2 at me here pretty soon. So let's see if I can get these guys down real quick, and then we will go over to kiosk and re-up on that. Boom.
Your oxygen reserves are low.
Yep.
Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to Link's equipment.
Alright, I'm going to use tethers on these guys. I'll get these guys down quick.
Caution.
Okay.
Tether supplies are low.
They're always low because you're brand new. That's why. That's just a thing. Okay, my guy freaking out over nothing, as usual.
Salvage secured.
Okay, come on down and go on down. Get on down there. There we go. Alright, back to the kiosk. So, I've had people ask me before, what do I play with the drain enabled? When I'm doing these videos. I want it to be kind of a more authentic
Oxygen levels
type of thing,
stabilizing.
you know, so you know what you're in for, you know, as far as your fuel and O2 consumption and the, you know, and all that jazz. As a lot of people like me play it with enabled kind of more for the realism thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so now that those things are done and gone, next thing we're going to do is, or I'm going to do is, I'm going to go over to back section here. Now we know that only the airlock is pressurized, and
Airlock
I
pressure
think
levels dropping.
I've done a few of these already. It's the same with the heavy cargo. I want to say these earlier Javelins are all depressurized inside. I think all of them are. So it's one less thing you have to deal with is trying to evacuate the air out. Okay, so I immediately head for the back of the boat. Now, on a standard Javelin, we're going to have coolant piping going to either a horizontally mounted or a vertically mounted reactor back here. It'll be in front of the thruster. And we'll have fuel piping, shut-off switch or switches, you know, whatever, you know, kind of a thing. But thankfully, we don't have any of that here. So the two major things that I want to get out of here are this thruster and then that reactor. The thruster is going to be first. So what we can do, we can approach this two different ways. Well, since I'm already back here, I'm going to take this portion of the boat off, and it comes in kind of in two sections. But I'm going to split saw these three little mount points right there. Hello, strip lattice. We're going to come down to this one and use the regular cutting tool because it's next to the reactor, and I don't want anything bad to happen. So there we go. There's our seam. It's starting to split up already. Let's see if we can push this guy out of here. Come on out. Here we go. Might be able to get this reactor out early, actually, doing it this way, tagging this all in one piece. The other way, once you've verified that there is no fuel line connection, there's no valve to shut off, and there's no key to have to put into a terminal, you know, the main fuel switch or whatever. Again, I'm distracted. I'm paying attention to this reactor. Then the normal way would be to go straight to the back after the back section's been depressurized. There's no atmosphere in there anymore. Take the cap points off the back, take the thruster cap off, pull the thruster out, and then hit this. But we can kind of do this all in one piece, and we can hit this reactor early. So one way to do this, tag a tether on it, and it should, boom, yank it off and send it straight down to the reactor, or excuse me, the barge. Okay, so the thing about this is this reactor has to pull out. It cannot come straight down. So if you notice, I've got that part of the ship backed up a little bit like yay, so it's a straight shot for that reactor to go straight down to the barge. So it's the reason why I also tethered it way out there. It'll just pop out and boom. So, alright, so we've got our thruster that we want to get out. That's our other high dollar item. So we'll use our standard stinger portion of the cutter tool. Take these cut points off. And then, okay, the cap and the thruster come out as one piece. That used to not be a thing, but I guess it is now. So then what you could do is tap, hold, boom. The grappler onto there, tether him down, he will take him straight down. Hopefully he doesn't bang too hard into that thing. I probably could have done that a little bit better, but you get the idea. And then we send the thruster cap, which is nanocarbon, send him home into the processor. Okay, so now we have this big chunk left over here. Since this is a complete teardown, and that's what I'm sticking to in this, I want to grab the lights. Trying to get every little last bit out of this as I can. So now we got this big back section back here. We don't need to chop any of the other stuff here. All this stuff can go into the processor. But since it is a larger section, let's go ahead and take it over to the left side processor. Since it's a larger section, I'm going to use... I'll test it with one, but I'm probably going to wind up using 2 tethers. Yeah, let's use 2 tethers on it. So, one consideration for you newer players out here, that are now transitioning into these Javelin boats. Whenever you go to take these rings off, boom, 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 the whole portions of the ship, make sure that your tethers are full up. Because you're going to run into situations like this where you have a piece that's way back there, and it has to travel right past in front of the furnace, and the furnace has a tendency of sucking stuff in. So you want to make sure that you have enough tethers to drag it away, like what I'm having to do right now, because you saw how it got stuck in the middle, and it looked like it was going to get drug into the furnace. It's a perfect example right there. So I had to use multiple tethers to yank it over. So that was what I think 5 total I used for that one piece. And depending upon if the processor successfully grabs it or if it doesn't get stuck right there in the side or whatever, then it may wind up being 6. So yeah, I think she's good. Good, there she goes. All right. So following my own rule, I'm gonna hop skip back to the kiosk ahead of time, and I'm gonna tag a re-up on tethers and O2. No railgate today. Sometimes it fires off and it's cool. Sometimes it doesn't. No idea why. It's a cinematic, you know, or not cinematic, it's a, well, I guess it is, you know, a showy thing. Didn't have any practical game value. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with these back rings back here. Now, these points right here that held the amplifiers for the antenna, they are, I mean, yeah, you could remove them. I don't think it makes much difference. I can go ahead and do it for the sake of this video. But normally I leave them attached to these rings because it's very little that goes in to the furnace, and it's a split between furnace and processor anyway. So yeah, 4 cut points on each side, and boom, shoved out of there. There you go. All right. So you can send him into the furnace or the processor. We'll just send him in the furnace, and we will watch and see what the thing says as far as what's salvaged. So 55 on the mount, 77 that was destroyed. So in a case like this, I'm going to skip doing that one, and we'll send the whole ring into the processor because that's just a it's a minimal amount. So I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. Save the strip lights. Watch your backdrop with the split saw tool. It is nasty. All right. This ring come off, and yeah, I'm going to show you guys a trick here, something that I do. So javelins, they're really long. These sections, you know, they're kind of pieced together, kind of like onion rings. It's the only thing I can think of. But anyway, we're close to the back of this thing, and then you have the processors that are forward. So again, reiterating the point of the risk of stuff going into the furnace. To make it a little bit easier to get this, what I do is I use a tether, and I'll angle it around to pull this off, like yay. So makes it a little bit easier to get it out and around. Hold on a minute. Come here. And so I'm going to grab this guy, and he's actually spinning a little bit more than I wanted him to. But you get the idea. So you take this guy and push him around. As long as he is clear right here from that section, grab him and yank him in. Probably going to wind up using 2 tethers on this as well. So again, tethers are your friend, but when you're brand new, you don't have the normal 25 of them. That was a bad tether over there on my part. You don't have the normal 25 of them that last a long time, so you can't just keep throwing tethers after tethers on things. You have to be mindful of your supply of them. So, and misfires like that, they hurt a lot more on this. So that's 2 tethers to pull that guy in, and I will tag 1 more of those rings and pull him in, and then we'll start going through the rear section of these compartments. So we got 1 more. Backdrop, okay, with the split saw. Now one thing I wanted to point out here, these cut points, especially for the last ring, I cut from the back of the ship facing forward. Now, I'm not going to do that for this because you have this titanium panel, plate, whatever you call it, right here. The split saw will cut it in half, and it'll ruin it, and it'll destroy that salvage. So, that's what we call a bad thing, and so we're not going to do that. So instead, we're going to do it like yay. We're going to face it from the front. Watch that airlock with the split saw. That's bad news. That's a high dollar item. We want to salvage that. So we got 3, and let's come down to number 4. I have my back to the titanium panel back there. Boom. This should separate this ring. There we go. Look at that. Swing on out. Okay. That was nice. Okay. So, yep, that'll be enough. Okay, let's do 1. Let's hit it with a second one. Let's make sure Harness doesn't try and gobble it up, because I've had that happen with high dollar carbon hull plating. And then you lose a lot on your salvage. And that's what we call annoying. So, not gonna have that happen here. Okay. Good. There we go. Get in there, I'm watching you. Don't get stuck there. Sometimes you have to kind of babysit these things. Yeah, this looks better. There we go. Good deal. Alright, I'll go ahead and go re-up and get it out of the way. I don't want the computer yelling at me. Your O2's low. You're gonna damage Link's equipment. Okay, great. Alright. Alright. So you know what, while I'm here, let me grab a few more of these. This is my actual player character, not a free play, so this is the real deal. I'm actually going for rank on this. All that up there. Okay, so the rest of the back section, you have this compartment in here. What I like to start with is the airlock. Oh, and by the way, since I neglected to mention this at the beginning of the video, my usual custom in doing these Shipbreaker videos is to do timestamps of the important parts. This is for those of y'all that just want to get to the prescient points rather than, you know, watching an hour and a half long teardown video. You know, nobody wants to, no one wants to watch me take strip lights out. So I will do it for stuff like the reactor, the thruster, this rear airlock, any of the major sections. I will do that for it. Okay, so we're getting to this airlock for the rear portion of the ship, the rear cabin, if you will. And we just got him out. That's pretty standard to do. Just hit the 6 points that are holding it on. And then we're going to make sure that we grab the switch for the airlock. Now, if this were... I was going to say... I'm doing this as if this were a pressurized ship, or that cabin were pressurized, where we want to make sure that we keep that switch intact. It keeps the airlock functional. But since it was depressurized, the first time I opened the airlock, it would have stayed open, and then I could have just taken the switch right off, but we're not going to do that. So let's brighten that up a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit darker in here. Okay. So let's see what we got. Alright. There's that titanium panel that I mentioned. We want to avoid him. And we can go ahead and get the remainder of these points off here. Okay, there's number 2. There's not going to be a number 4 up top. Okay. This should peel off, if I remember correctly. I might be a little bit early on this. Nope, I am not. Okay. I thought maybe I was, because there's some beam stuff that we have to do over there. I thought maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but I don't think I am. Okay, so for this ring, what we can do is we use 2 tethers, and we attach them on the sides, like yay, and that will mostly pull it off evenly. I've already kind of, you know, made it cattywampus. That's a technical term, by the way. But the idea is to pull it off straight, and then you have room to drag it over to a processor without it being in the way of anything. So even though it didn't practically work out the way I wanted it, at least for those of y'all that are unfamiliar with that technique, you know, now you got it. So, let's see, are there any lights over here I should grab? I don't think so. Sometimes these rings will have those little stupid lights in there, but when they're without power, they'll be red, a little more easier to spot. Okay, he's going to go into processor heaven. Okay, now for this cabin, it's 2x1. Now, there's a couple ways that we can take all of those valuables out on the inside. We've got battery, computer terminals, posters, chairs. There's probably an atmospheric regulator or processor thing that's inside of there. But what I like to do is take out the floor, because many of those parts are going straight down to the barge. And so taking the floor out seems like it's the easiest way to do this. So if you want to make it super easy, we will take out... no, we'll skip that actually. I thought there was a small piece there. We'll take out all of these beams down here. It's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. So then we'll get the plates out. But one more thing that we will have to look at once we get in there is to make sure that there's nothing attached connecting two chunks together, a floor and a wall. Sometimes you can have a table sitting right here, and you cut all the beams and it won't separate, but when you pull that table off, boom, pieces come apart. So let's get these guys out of here. Then, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we come over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this. This is part of separating what would be the main fuel tank framework, or it's not lattice, whatever the proper terminology is. The metal framing that holds and protects the main fuel tank and the fuel lines going to the nacelles. Chop this stuff off around it here. I go for these 4 beams. Then I'll go for this framework over here. And part of a process I call going ham. But we're not going to do that yet. Okay, so in theory, if I did this right... Okay, it's still attached up there. So we have an object in there. See, there we go. There's a table. Take him. Split that bottom piece up. Just like that. Voila. Grabbing the lights. This is a complete teardown, not a half-complete teardown. It's just a reminder to something for those of you all that have seen Office Space. When Bill Lombard calls Peter on Peter's day off. He leaves all those voicemail messages. He said, "Come in as soon as possible. It's not a half day."
Tether supplies running low.
That's the greatest movie ever made, I think. Let's see. He is still attached to something, so table off. I may have missed a beam. Oh, I did not. Okay. Anyway, back to the teardown. So all our nice valuable items, we can get these out nice and convenient like this way. So one thing I like to do, and I've become more and more strict about it the longer I play this game, is to save anything electrical or computer-wise, like those computer terminals up there. Save them for last, just in the event that they
Oxygen reserves are low.
High maintenance,
asphyxiation can
and
salvage quotas.
When you peel them off of their mounts, they shoot electrical beams all over the damn place.
Salvage deposit accepted.
So we can send him in. Let's go ahead and tether him in. I got some of these left. Okay, this thing's yelling about my air, so let's go get that taken care of. Anyway, as you can see, taking those floor plates out makes it super easy to get that stuff out. Just boom, boom, boom. Just drag it straight down to the barge. You come down this way. Go back over to the hab. The suit will sit here and scream at you for 2 minutes on your O2 being low.
Please contact your plan administrator to add asphyxiation coverage.
And then it goes into this whole thing of your guy asphyxiating for 60 or 90 seconds or something, with him breathing, ever more progressively heavier, and the screen getting fuzzy, and it's just this overdrawn dramatic thing. But anyway, whatever. Okay, so Get the posters out. I like getting those out first. They're flammable. They'll set on fire and you'll lose salvage if you have electrical crap. Like if I peeled that guy out and he's shooting sparks everywhere, then I don't want him messing stuff up and setting things on fire. Watch out. Very super easy way to do it. There we go. Atmospheric regulators, money. So you get down there. Let's see.
Salvage
Computer terminals. Not yet. Let me look around see if there's anything else. Yeah, we have these aluminum panels, and these are all furnace items. And then there's fabric in there. The fabric, I've done this on several gecko boats. The fabric, I've set it all on fire, and there's this giant raging fire in the inside of the ship, and I can't do anything about it. I've had that happen a bunch of times. So get in there. All right. The fabric is a furnace piece, though. It burns up. It's worthless. Come out of there. I think there might be another one that I missed over there. Let me look. Oh, nope. Okay. There's a not Pepsi right there. Okay, the glass sometimes I will take out and I'll split saw it around if I want to pull stuff out the back. I can do a demonstration of that real quick if that is a preferred method. So you do it from the inside of the little compartment here. You go around. Usually you only have to do 3 sides, and that'll sufficiently detach it. Sometimes you have to do all 4. There, I got 3 out of it. So, but it's a furnace item. It kind of doesn't matter. You can leave it intact there because the rest of this goes in the furnace. It's all aluminum paneling. Okay, so now that that's done, let's see, one door switch we missed. Get him out of there. Now we can start taking terminals out. We'll take the small ones. They're a little bit less temperamental than the larger terminals. I'm gonna tag that battery pack. I'll get him split off there. Come on, there you go. I've been shocked more times than not by stuff electrical on this. What is that? That piece of no, that's just those goofy little things. Okay, so in theory now, we should be able to take this entire thing off. It should be detached from this panel after having done all this. If it's not, it might be from those corners there, and I might need to get those off. So let's find out. Let's see if it is. I might have to go ham on those things. Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, so we're going to do what I call going ham. And I do this big fat circle all the way around. I'm going to wind up doing it twice on this boat. I'm going to have to do it over here as well once we get all these little pod clamps off. That would otherwise hold a bunch of fuel tanks on the real Javelin boat. So here we go. Try to keep as close as possible to this panel. Try not to saw into anything that's valuable. We will come back and mess with those clamps here in a second once we get this compartment out. So I just kind of swing around in a circle and put all these mount points up. So there's these 4 large roundish, whatever you want to call them. That was a bad cut there. That actually should have separated it. Take our panel out and everything. There we go. These guys right there that I'm pointing at, roundish, squarish, whatever shape that is, they're not actually attached to this panel, so they're not cut points. That's something I'll get into here in a short bit. This portion of it, this outer ring, like A with those 4 points on it, gets separated from the metal framework in the middle that's used to house and protect the fuel tanks on the normal Javelin. We'll get that up. I'll show you all how to take that all apart here in a minute. Okay, what did I miss here? There's something that I missed. I know what it is. I already know. It's gonna be top points up here somewhere. Yep, that beam right there. So these angular beams need to be cut to separate panel from it. Let's make sure I got all of them. Did not. There we go. So when taking that panel off and separating it from this aluminum passenger or whatever compartments there, that's what I was looking for. You have to cut those angular 45 degree guys off. So this guy goes in the processor and he's money. And like I said, there's another one up there that we will tag. And we have this door switch. It's always on the starboard side, and I think I might have destroyed it. Oh, nope, I didn't. Okay. That was a bad pull on my part. I was getting a little bit lazy there. Okay, so the cool thing about getting all the valuables out, where I took the floor and everything out of this 2x1 section here, and having gotten all the rest of everything out that needs to go to the barge, you can take this one section as it is, send it straight to the furnace. We'll send it to the internet. There, Cobra Kai for you. And okay, it's back piece. I chopped him off earlier, but he'll go too. So, boom, that all gets smelted away. Babysit and make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, a couple pieces. There's going to be a few of those loose metal framework pieces from going ham back there, and so that's part of a little bit of a cleanup that needs to be done. You can use your scanner here to see them a little more easily. We'll get those out of here. I'm all about clean salvages, as much as I can salvage cleanly and efficiently.
Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable
Good time to go
levels.
back to the kiosk and re-up on everything that's needed. So I don't need tethers, I'm only missing one, but I will go ahead and tag. I'll just tag O2, actually.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000.
Oxygen levels.
So used to having all the really good equipment, and then with the character reset and the build 0.4.0, it nerfed me. Basically, I'm not used to this cheap stuff. I'm used to having really efficient tools, the charge push thing on it, and and all that jazz. But whatever. Anyway, okay, so we have these pod clamps here, and they are all barge items, and there's 12 of them, I think. Yeah. So quick and easy way is just to slide to the sides and use your split saw, and boom, go ham. We will mess with you cut points in a minute. Not quite there yet. Get the boom. Okay, watch your backdrop. Again, there's our nice titanium panel. Down, let's spin up 90 degrees. Boom, get them. I like to cut all these things off and then grab every one of them off, send them down to the barge. 2 separate chunks. So, we go number 3, or number 7 actually. 3rd section, number 7. There. 8. And be careful with the use of the split saw. Do not get too comfortable with it. It's a very powerful tool, and you can blow up an entire ship by misclicking it. So, alright, so those 12 are done. Let's go down there.
Salvage
And
secured.
let's see.
Credits deposited.
Down there. These guys off. Come on out. They're pretty easy.
Salvage deposit
Especially with the upgraded grappler from this newer version, newer build of the game, they come out really, really easy. Boom, boom, boom.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
All that's out, and then we'll grab these top ones here shortly. Let's see. Alright, I'm good there. Anyway, I had to look at something. Sorry about the distraction. Okay. Top ones come out. I'm distracted with that, so we'll grab the side ones here. Even though I'm supposed to be doing the top ones.
Salvage secured.
You come on out of there. Alright. And that should be it. That should be all 12 of them right there.
Accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay, so now what we're left with here, so we've got the front section, the cockpit. As you can see, the front section is probably a little bit longer than the back section. It'll take slightly longer to do it, but it's not bad. And then we have this portion here. Normally, and I've already mentioned this, the regular Javelin will be laden with all these fuel tanks all around it. Now we can say by this point that we've taken all of the external fuel tanks out and taken the pod clamps out and and off and all that stuff. But we would still have a main fuel tank in here with a manifold, a plenum, piping, nacelles, all that stuff. So for the sake of this video, let's just imagine that we've already done that. So now it's time to separate this fuel tank, I don't know, framework, protective framework. I don't know what else to call it, really. We'll separate it out from this outer portion. Now, as you can see, the outer portion is titanium, and it goes in the processor, whereas this is all aluminum, and it goes into the furnace. So what we do is we hit these cut points. There's going to be 8 of them. But since we have this high-dollar titanium panel right there, we are going to put that to our back, and then shoot backwards. On the normal Javelin, at least on the older build, the same as the ion rings and some of the larger pieces where you need detonation charges, det booms. It's the same here as well. You can actually see where you would place a charge just right there in that square. Now, I don't know if it's still there or not, because I haven't gotten up to the point where I'm able to do the higher level Javelin boats yet, because my guy's still 9, and I think the new player level is something like 30, so I don't know if it's a case where you need them, but you used to need them. And I just remembered something. So I'm trying to pull this framework off, and it won't move. After we cut those 8 major points, we have to pull it off of this panel, and what we need to do here is we need to go ham on this. Now, I'm not going to take those beams off here. One thing I would like to remind y'all of is that if this were pressurized, we have to be really careful what we do here. Now, normally the smart thing to do in a pressurized boat would be to go into any and all compartments and depressurize it and get all the air out, just so we don't run into problems later by hitting something and violently depressurizing the ship in an uncontrolled fashion. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. Anyway, we're going to go ham on this side, and if you notice, I like to do it where I have the cut tool on the opposite side of where our hole paneling is. I did it on the other side, I'm going to do it on this one as well. So we just kind of swing a little loop-de-loop here. It's not as fast as I can normally do this. We usually jam right through this and just, I go crazy and have a lot of fun with the split saw. Let's see, nope, still not disconnected yet. Yep, there you go. These 2 guys right here. Disconnected now. There you go. You can use the grappler to check stuff. For those that are really new to this game and happen to be stumbling upon this video, you can see if something is disconnected from the ship by tapping it with the grappler. I hit that with the grappler, I got the blue outline, which means he's a free-floating piece, whereas the gold or yellow means he's not. Okay, so back to what I was trying with the tether. I used a tether. I had to shoot it straight back, and we peel this whole thing back, and I could use 2 and do it evenly. This is a lighter object. We don't have fuel tanks to worry about. That would complicate it and make it a little bit of a different story.
Warning, oxygen reserves are low.
Yeah, that was a bad tether. Okay. So, get him out to the furnace.
Tether supplies are low.
So now he's separate from that guy. Alright, okay, let's go. Let's go get some O2. And I'll re-up tethers, and I'm half on fuel. I'll go ahead and do all 3.
Welcome to Venditron 9000.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to finish getting the rest of that outer, whatever you call it, off. And let's see. He is technically not mounted. So, you see there's no real hard connection point right there. So in theory, be able to just peel him off. Like, yay, this is one way to do it. The other way is to take a tether and yank him straight towards the back to angle him around. The third way is to take a tether and go straight into the side, because we're getting close now in our disassembly to where these pieces are right next to the processor. Here, let's turn this up a little. There we go. Okay. Might need 2 for this. I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on with that furnace over there. And work my way up here towards the front. Yeah, so we lost that tether. Let's tag. I don't want him floating into that furnace. This is a money piece right here. So let's grab you. Send you over to this corner. Let's go ahead and use 2. Let's double them up right here. I'll make it doubly strong. Go ahead and yank it in there. Multiple tethers for this larger piece since it's a heavier item. Come on. Oh, and one thing, and I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, for the new players, be careful coming in here, because this thing wants to draw you in. Let off the key, boom, it's pulling me in, just like it does objects. So you have to make sure that you have something that you can grapple onto to pull yourself out. So there we go. Like yay. Because I've gotten really close to that thing, and you have to sit there and slam on the brake button, left control in this case, by default to do that. Okay. All right. How about 2 more tethers? Using a lot to pull this piece in here. There, get in there.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
All we gotta do is get it part way in. And yeah, he should be right as rain. I got 5 tethers left. Yeah, I'm in no hurry to do them. There we go. Okay, so
Object accepted for processing.
we know that only the airlock
Credits deposited.
is pressurized, so this shouldn't be a big deal. Not peel the switch off yet.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Once this depressurizes, the doors should... Okay, this way then.
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
Should be pressurizing the boat in here. Oh, you pressurized in here. Okay. This is the only compartment that has it. Okay, alright. Well, we have one compartment in here that's pressurized, so what I'm going to do is shut this airlock.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
And I'm going to go ahead and open one of these doors because we have no choice. Make sure you put a hand on something so it doesn't throw your guy around, because it will. Okay, now we're depressurized. That wasn't so bad. I know there's not a lot in the way of loose components that are floating around around on the inside over there. So, okay. Let's do that again.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Come on, open up. Well, both doors open. That's more like it. Okay. Alright, since we're open, don't have to worry about nothing. Go ahead and tag this door switch. Normally not a fan of getting those things off early. We can leave that door switch in the airlock. Since the airlock is going to the barge as well, get our exceptionally high dollar access ladders out. They make all the difference in the world.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Come on out of there. There you go. Come on. I don't have to bang that up. Like I kind of scuffed it by doing that. Get down there. Alright.
Salvage secured.
Okay,
Credits
now,
deposited.
the first things I like to do after depressurizing any part of the ship or whatever that you have to do is I like to get some of these pieces and panels separated as quickly as possible. So, split saw, be mindful of your backdrop. Then, let's see. There we go. See if he'll move. Give me a seam. Nope, not yet. Alright. Did I get all of them, or am I missing something here? It might be. Yeah. These pieces right here, the same ones. These 4 angular things. Again, I cannot stress enough the importance of making sure compartments are depressurized before you start cutting into them. So, had it happen. Had slight little technical malfunction. Okay. I'm assuming that there's still nothing in there. Something going on there. Anyway, I may wind up coming back to that. But normally what I like to do is I like to try and get as much of the pieces hole-wise separated and out and away from everything to simplify stuff. So we have pieces like this. Here's the what I call the front cap of the ship. We can get him off. He's actually I think only 2. Yeah, and he just floats right off real easy. And that gives us an easy access point. That was my original point that I forgot to mention. I got distracted earlier. It gives us an easy way in and out of the ship without having to go through an airlock and all that. I probably could have done that a little bit more gracefully than what I just did there. Okay, so just like for fuel tanks and all that jazz, we have this guy right here. He is not technically mounted to anything. He's already kind of scooched around. But what we have to do is we have to pull these guys out right here, these mounts for the ion ring, the big ring that we took off at the beginning of the video. So there's some mount points here. Boom, boom. We have to cut 8 points total to get all of this off. And then once those are done, we will pull them straight apart like that. So pretty simple. Oh, I hate this low O2 capacity. I'm so used to having a big capacity and not having to go back all the time. But we are playing as a newer player again. Boom. Okay, let's go back. Let's be back home. There we go. Let's see. I'll go ahead and re-up tethers to okay. So with those 8 points cut, should be able to yank these guys up and over and around, and that'll free this titanium thing up, so then we can drag it over to the processor. It'll probably go to the one back behind me. Let's send you down there. You go home.
Object accepted for processing.
On down.
Credits deposited.
Yeah, it's always going to yell about it a little bit. Some of those things you can't take off. Can't take off of these ships and split up into pieces. So you have to sacrifice something. Okay, so this guy's already kind of peeled out a little bit, so I'm going to tether him to the hab over there. Kind of pull him off at an angle, like yay. Once he clears that side over there as much as possible. Actually, I already disconnected him, so he's fine. I will send him down there, and I will send this guy, the processor, over here. Okay, you are going over there. And let's do 2, because we had success with that on the other one. Let's see there.
Caution. Tether supplies are low.
They're always low because you're new and you use a lot of them. Okay, let's see if that's enough.
Valuable object processed.
Good, we're good.
Credits deposited.
Passing 2 here shortly, so that'll be a good thing. 3-2 in the salvage up above, so we're talking about there. So. Come on, get in there. I'm going to babysit this one. I don't want him to get stuck in that middle and then roll around and he goes into the furnace and then... Not going to happen. Tethers do not last long, these starter ones. Okay. Yeah, we're probably good. Yep, good. All right. Money.
Processing valuable object.
Boom.
Credits awarded. Salvage gains observed.
Here we go. Okay, instead of using the split saw to get these the rings off up here, if I can avoid it, avoid any issues, I can do it to them. But we have these airlocks here, so I stick to the stinger portion of the cutter. Start cutting some of these things out to get these rings out. Get them all about simplification on teardowns. There's some complex piece that I need to deal with. I want to make sure I get as much crap around it out of the way. Okay. A little power cell right there. I'll go ahead and tag him. Come on out. Normally there's a power generator up here somewhere. Big thing you have to yank out and you have to have a lot of room and stuff, but this is way easy to do. Okay, so let's try this. We'll try one, probably have to do two. Let's do two. Let's just get it out of the way. There you go. Okay, and he should already be separated. He is. He's gonna start spinning the boat around too. I'll send him over there since the cockpit's in the way there, and it's gonna wind up spinning the ship around. So once you have enough of this stuff taken off, it's a little bit more common on the mackerel ships, but it happens on any of these ships. Once you get so much crap taken off of them, then you have a little bit of the ship left, and once you start manipulating stuff, it'll start spinning around and doing all sorts of weird stuff. So sometimes you could find yourself tearing a ship down that is or upside down or whatever, and it screws your orientation up a little bit. You know what? Let's do two. Ah, damn it.
Warning. No tethers remaining.
Yep, I misfired on that last one, so I'll go ahead and re-up. I'll re-up everything real fast. And the guy's just going to sit there and wait for me.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000.
I mean, to get a demo charge pack, I don't think I could find it anyway. Okay. Alright, let's try that again, BDC, and do a better job. Okay. Get in there. There we go. Okay. So, sidecar cockpit and airlocks. No split saw here, all stinger. So you have to watch the amount of oomph that you're putting into this thing for how long. You can set your guy on fire doing this. So this is the part that I call boring. See all these cut points. 6 per airlock. And then to get these guys out effectively, we have to collapse those walls and those panels, which probably means going back in to make sure that there's nothing holding that stuff together. So, cut point, cut point, cut point. Tons of them for this front section. Careful how much you use of that thing. I'm not worried about those cut points yet. I am distracted. I'll go ahead and tag strip lights. Always makes my machine lag right there. Okay. Oh, another strip light. Save the strip lights. Gotta get them out. And I'll go ahead and tag the little lights too. Whatever. It's a complete teardown, so I'll have to do this right. Boom. Boom. And one more coming down. Come here. Where are you at? There you are. Okay. So, oh, I missed a couple over here. Let me finish this real quick. Okay, with these guys disconnected, like, yay, great, alright, I've got them done, but you can't do anything, you can't pull stuff out of the way here. So, you have to collapse this compartment in. You have to take these, you have to pull these things out. So, more cut tool. More stinger with the cutting tool. And we just start taking these little aluminum beams out everywhere. And these little corner blocks, because these are considered attachment points. So, something to pay attention to. Ooh, a little bit close there. Alright. I don't care though, whatever. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. Good, okay. Check to see if there's any switches or anything attached to him. No, there's not. Okay. He's a furnace item. Go to aluminum heaven. Okay. We'll go ahead and start tagging valuables out of here. There's a few things, not a whole lot. I'm gonna leave that. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter. Or probably doesn't work now. Actually, this is. Let's see if he will open the doors at least. If not, I might have to cut them open. That should have been something that I did ahead of time to be able to get inside here, because the only real effective way to do that is do it that way. The other way is just to continue collapsing all this down, pull that airlock out the side, and then boom, I got direct access in. So maybe I'll just wait on it. Not rush it. Not that big of a deal. Door switch. Switch. Save the strip light. Oh, another strip light. Oh, hi. How are you
Salvage
doing?
secured. Credits deposited.
Door switches everywhere. Okay. Alright. What's in the back here? Fabric. Him out. He's flammable. Aluminum panel piece. We're out of there. Start disconnecting some of these loose things here. Just for the hell of it. Ooh, hey, there's our data drive. Boom. Okay. Right. Alright, I am getting slightly distracted here. I need to get all these walls apart, so back to the fun job of cutting. We'll start taking the rest of these rings off too. I'd like to get that panel out. Actually, by virtue of cutting the four corners around it, it should have already disconnected. Check and make sure. Nope, she's not moving. Okay, then it's going to be something holding something together inside of there. So, anyway, alright. Get back to what I was doing here. So basically just chop all of these beams up all the way around this thing. These compartments. It's boring and it sucks, but you know, whatever. We have one down on the bottom to deal with. Load door switch. There we go. You're good. And I'm gonna use a stinger on you instead. Just got that power cell sitting down there. So this may actually start pulling. Yeah, there we go. Can't come out that way. And are all these things disconnected yet? I'm gonna hang up on anything. It might drag on the airlock up there, so press these beams out. And this all will kind of sort of start crumbling together. Might even make the boat shake. Sometimes it does. Okay, let's see. There we go. All right.
Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
That's better. Okay. Get him taken care of and out of the way. 2 and
Oxygen level stabilizing.
Alright. So, collapsing pieces. I hope this is gonna make sense here. Let me get this door switch out. Boom. Done. You pull all these things down. What am I missing here? Something on the opposite side. Did I not cut those beams? Miss one? Did. Alright. There we go, that's better. Pull these things down. Now our airlocks are a little bit more accessible than they were.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Boom, there we go. Now it's starting to all split up better. That's what I wanted right there. So this part's a little messy, as you can see. Let's make sure there's nothing on the other side of this I don't want to keep. Sometimes there is. Not. Like an airlock switch, that kind of thing like that. Okay, you go inside of there. We're going to get to our cockpit here shortly. Not quite ready for that yet. Okay, he's the furnace item. I'll tether him in because I don't want to sit there. Spend 20 minutes dragging him all the way over there. Okay, same for this guy. You're a furnace item. Get in there. Okay, got this back section right here to deal with. That's easy enough. I don't care about the doors. Is there a switch in the other side I missed? No. Alright, let's go. Come on up. Get over that thing. Ready to be done with this one. Okay, and you get over there. Good. Okay, so we got our 2 money items out. Now we have the cockpit sitting here, which should not be attached to anything, or it's about to not be at least. So you've got two cut points on the bottom that hold it onto that ring. Sometimes you'll have what's called an arrow bridge, and it's this black sectional tube looking thing, and it's yay long. That's not a good scaled reference there, but anyway. So the cockpit will stick further out. So this guy right here, these 4 rather, that's 2, I guess 2. That should separate the cockpit out in a way, but there's still stuff in there we need to get. So this ring is now separate. And let's get a couple of tethers out for him. Send him off into
Tether supplies running low.
Processor Elysium. Go in there. Some of this crap out of here while I'm thinking about it. Actually, is this compartment separated from that panel yet? Go ahead and tag this power cell and get it out of the way, because these things are just problems. The big shocking crap on it. See that? There's an example of a fire. So, processor electrified everything there. Here's a good example of what I say when save the electrical stuff for last. So now I have a little fire in here. So now I'm rushing to get the high value stuff out of here before the rampant electricity sets everything ablaze.
Account credit applied.
And those fabric pieces, that's weird. That's probably a bug right there. On occasion, you run into bugged parts on this that won't move, or you see something that half splits apart and it stays in midair, stuff like that. And that strip light is apparently busted. So let's see if I can tag this terminal out of here. Oh, I can't. Looks like this whole thing is bugged. Okay. Well, anyway, it's not common, but it happens.
Raw material processed.
Okay. If I can't get all this out, I may just wind up sending that whole damn thing to the furnace then. The game isn't 100% bug-free. but you do still run into stuff from time to time. So there, poster's getting burnt up. Stuff is damaged. Can't really do anything with this. So there you go. There's an example of fire, and there's an example of how I sometimes break my own rules. So I shouldn't have done that. Let's see, all the cut points are taken off this ring, so I'll take him and I'm going to peel him off, get him out over there. Then I'm going to deal with this cockpit piece right there. Oh yeah, this thing is just flying apart. Oh, save the terminal. Good deal. Okay. Good. I don't know what happened there, but whatever was keeping this stuff all together apart. Okay, yep. Scrap, scrap, scrap. Good. So there you go. That's something that can happen. And I lost my titanium panel. Damn. I was hoping to do a better thing with that. Okay, so real life example of me getting itchy and pulling that power cell off early. It caused a cascade of problems there. So that's why I say wait to do electrical till the last, but I got impatient, wanted to do it, and now I've got a mess of crap. So there you go. Don't do what I did. There we go. Which means I might not make it up to salvage grade 3 on this, or I'm going to get close. Depends on how much crap this stuff is worth in the furnace. Yeah. Okay. This made a damn mess out of here. I'll try sending him down to the barge, but... nope, that's no-go.
Your oxygen reserves are low. Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to Link's equipment.
Material deposited.
That's interesting. Alright.
Processing valuable object.
All from that small little piece. That's it. That's all it took. Was detaching that power cell, and it started spreading fire and lit everything on fire. The fabric is very bad about that, so... Not as clean of a complete teardown as I wanted, but at least for those of you all that are new to this, y'all got a good real life example and game of what can happen. It was not my intent though. I just got impatient. I broke my own damn rule. Get in there. Yeah, I'll make 3. I'll make 3. I can see it up there. I'll be fine. Especially once I get the terminals out of the cockpit, if this other stuff doesn't do it first. Get in there. Go home. Okay, there is another processor there, or a power cell there. Let's get these things in there, clean this up a little bit. Go, get in there. Don't think that's gonna make it in there. Stuff there is still melting, it's weird. This something? No, I didn't. Alright, okay. Hey, the strip lights. Yeah, we'll make it to 3. Okay. Okay, there's another power cell. That's money right there. There we go.
Salvage deposit.
Boom.
Credits transferred.
3. Alright, well I'm happy at least with that.
Salvaged in full. Credits applied.
Not to my liking yet. It's not quite done. But it will be shortly. Come here. Get down there. Hey, what are you? You're bugged. Yeah, I don't know what you are. You're bugged. Okay, alright. Get in there. A few little loose pieces here and there, but I don't care. Okay, so back to the cockpit. Normally I would have already done this, but I wanted to clean all that other crap up first, so there we go. Okay, this thing's upside down.
Deposit accepted.
Bunch of cut points here. That portion slides front, coming out. It has 2 terminals on it. And we're going to try and tag these. I like to take terminals out after I slide this piece out. Again, electrical items, problems, drama, like what happened earlier. So, get in there. All right. Then we come in here and we can take out... Okay, we are upside down, which is fine. Poster first. Furniture. Those 2 computer terminals, oof, that are in there. That was a little bit closer than I thought it was. Those computer terminals that are in there, wait on those.
Deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
I blew an entire Javelin refueling boat, a real one, not this, early level training one. I blew one of those up, the whole thing, because of those stupid terminals right there.
Account credit applied.
So I learned my lesson to save those for last. Okay, so all the furniture's out, so I don't care about those cut points. Drag him up a little bit, get him away from those nasty terminals. Boom, you go down to a barge. Computer heaven. Let's tag you 2. Okay. Now for the nasty terminals. Now, if you can get these guys out in one piece, that's fantastic. These guys, they always seem to be trouble for me. Always, always, always.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay, alright, that's done. Boom and boom. We were good there. Processor this. Send him home. What do we have here? There's a loose light. Yep. Looks like something over there didn't
Salvage
wait.
deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Why is that an aluminum panel in the barge? Come on up. Let's go. You need to be up in the furnace instead. Come on. Come here. Come on up.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
There you go. Get in there. I don't know how that happened. I may have done that on accident. And that should be it for the boat. Boom. Oh, I got me another sticker. Okay, cool. Alright, so one last sweep with the scanner to make sure there's no loose pieces. There's one right there. Okay. That's it. We're done.
Material processed.
So that probably took a little bit longer than it needed to because of that screw up. My impatience grabbing that power cell early. That's a valuable lesson. Let's see, that was an hour, 10 hour, 15 minutes to get that thing down. So not bad. That's with the drain and everything enabled. So let's see. That chunk of nano cover, I don't know. I'll usually look at these high dollar things to see, okay, what got messed up. This could have been from that electrical incident. The rest of it's piddly though. So good money out of that. And got a good chunk of the way through 9. So there you go. Hazard level 5. First Javelin refueler boat to take apart. I hope this was helpful for y'all new players out there. And I hope you guys got something out of it. I really do. That's why I make these videos. And I love all the comments and the questions people ask. These discussions, I go back and forth about the best way to tear stuff down, things like that. So for anybody that's got any of those, throw them down there. I do my best trying to answer all of them. Don't think there's anything else. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. I do thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.